first met Lisa in a Facebook group for writers. Her posts were always so insightful, filled with a depth of emotion that resonated with me. We began chatting privately, sharing ideas, critiques, and eventually, personal details. Over the course of 5 years, our online friendship blossomed into something that felt deeply real, even though we had only met in person once at a KFC. That meeting had been brief but pleasant, and we both promised to do it again soon. Time passed, and life moved on. My husband had to go abroad for a business trip, and I found myself feeling lonely in our big, empty house. It was then that I thought of Lisa. I decided to invite her over, hoping to rekindle our friendship in person. However, when I tried to contact her, there was no response. After multiple attempts, I grew annoyed, but eventually, Lisa replied, making excuses about being busy with household stuff. When Lisa finally arrived, she hugged me tightly, like a long-lost best friend. It felt odd, considering our limited in-person interactions. Without any greeting, she said, "You were sad before I arrived, but now you're happy." It was a strange comment for someone I'd only met once. As we walked through the house, Lisa pointed out the spot where a fireplace used to be, a detail I had mentioned in passing years ago. It was eerie how she remembered. I gave her a tour of the house, and then we headed to a nearby fast food restaurant. During our conversation, Lisa started singing out of nowhere, which was unsettling. After eating, we walked to a park near the restaurant. Lisa chose a bench that was half in the sun and half in the shade. She began showing me trinkets from her handbag, which seemed normal at first, but then she insisted I take a key ring she offered. It felt inappropriate for our level of friendship, so I declined. She kept insisting until it became awkward. We then went to a nearby market where she bought a coat and asked me to pay for it, claiming her card wasn't working. It felt strange, but I paid with the cash my husband had given me. Back at my house, Lisa wandered into the backyard, where we have a store and a big lemon tree. She started walking in circles around the tree, muttering to herself. Suddenly, she stopped, picked 2 lemons, and began poking her finger into them. I was thoroughly freaked out by this point and angrily shouted for her to come back inside. Before leaving, Lisa claimed her keys were missing. As I helped her search, I saw her rubbing a lemon on the sofa. I was furious but relieved when she said her Uber had arrived. After Lisa left, strange things began happening. I had multiple car accidents, which was unusual for me. I felt a constant fog in my mind, and everything seemed darker. Desperate, I called my sister, who suggested I see a healer. The healer started his process, and I felt pain in my body where Lisa had touched me hard on the shoulder. He discovered small pieces of cloth tied to the lemon tree, a sign of dark magic. He instructed us to submerge the cloth in blessed water and keep it in a secure place. As the healer continued his work, I started receiving multiple calls from Lisa, which I ignored. Terrified, I blocked her on all social media platforms. Gradually, my life began returning to normal. The accidents stopped, and the dark cloud lifted. I never heard from Lisa again, but the memory of her visit and the strange events that followed still haunt me. I learned to be cautious of online friendships, for you never truly know who is on the other side of the screen.